The Nitecore EDC series, I kicked this off when I reviewed the EDC 23 and had a request for taking a look at the EDC 29. So here's the 23 and the 29 together. You can tell, the 23 is the smallest and the 29 is the largest in the entire series. Other than that, they're very, very similar. But you have a burst mode of 2500 with the EDC 23 and 6500 with the 29. So because this has a burst mode of 6500, the request actually was to compare it to the BL70 Imalent that has a turbo of 6000. So we're going to go outside and we're going to make that comparison. But first, let's look at what we get. Obviously, box. That's how it came. User's manual. There's the stats. 6500 doesn't really list any runtime. Neither does 3000 Spotlight. But the 1200 is a 2-hour. The 400 is a 3-hour. The 100 is 13 hours. And 15 lumens is 61 hours. Comes with a USB-C charging cable, which is fantastic. And it also comes with a really nice lanyard. Now, I don't know if I'm going to actually attach this or not. It has a good pocket clip. I'll probably just carry it with the pocket clip, but it's nice. So this has a manual lockout, a clicky, and then you have two buttons. If you just half press when it's off, it'll give you battery voltage. It doesn't usually strobe like that. That's just the camera. Then if you push it all the way down, it'll come on. So there we have 1200 lumens, and it's telling me I have 1 hour 50 minutes of runtime left. Then I can half press it down. And go through all of the different levels. The flat button, that's how you're going to get your burst. So you push it partially down, and it's going to give you 3000 lumen, and you can see the meter going down and then recharging, and you push it all the way down to get your 6500. So I have heard a lot of talk that this is a 1200 lumen flashlight, and that the burst modes don't really make any difference. I kind of disagree with that, because I'm not walking around needing 3000 or 6500 lumens all the time, but when I walk outside and my dog barks at something in the dark and I want to illuminate it really quick, I am going to use the burst mode, and I like that. But for general use, I'm not even going to be on 1200. I'll probably be on 100 or 400 lumen for almost everything I do. And then I can always just drop down and really blast it if I need to look far, or or whatever. If I need to blind someone for defensive purposes, I can grab that and hit them. It's not going to take minutes of runtime in order to accomplish any of those things. Having that burst mode, in my opinion, is a valuable thing. There's a look at the two emitters. You have clusters of LEDs in each one. Orange peel reflectors on both. Should be interesting to see the beam pattern. It looks like here we have a hot spot. And then on my I'm getting the Imalent out. There's a 600. So there's the difference in the beams between the Imalent BL70 and the Nitecore. The camera never does these beams justice. You can get an idea of the shape of it and everything, but the brightness level, like when I hit this, for me, that's really, really bright on both the Imalent and the Nitecore. Let's do a few physical comparisons between these two. These are completely different lights. The thicknesses, the lengths, so I have 3 3/4 for the Imalent, and then I have 5 1/4 for the Nitecore. But thicknesses, that's where the Nitecore really shines, because if it's going to be sliding into your front pocket, the thickness is what's going to really matter. So at its thickest point up here by the lenses, I have about 3/4 of an inch, just under 3/4 of an inch. Where the Imalent is about 1.1 inches, and that's at its thinnest spot. If you take it across here, we have 1.38 inches. So that's a big difference. The Nitecore comes with a nice clip, so I can slide this into my pocket right now. That's strong. I noticed on the EDC 23 that the clip was really strong too. I actually have to work just a little bit to get it over my pants pocket, but once it's there, it's not coming out until you pull it. And then all of this is nice and smooth, so it does tend to pull out of my pocket really nice. The Imalent has no clip. I actually had to make a little belt holster so that I can clip it onto my belt. Both lights have tail cap controls for tactical use. The Imalent also has a side control that just brings on the 10 lumen level. Excuse me. In order to lock out the Imalent, you click the side 4 times, and then it'll tell you lock, and then same to unlock. With the Nitecore, to keep it from triggering, it's just like the EDC 23 has that switch. So now it's on full lock. And you flip that down, and you're back in business. I really like that mechanical switch. So the layout of the two lights is a lot different. You know, if you need access to red, the Imalent has access to a red light with a double click on the side. The Nitecore is just pure bright white. So those are some physical differences. Oh, one thing that has become something to think about, it's just a minor nuisance, but when I go to charge the Imalent, this little rubber cover just comes off now. It looks like that it was attached only at one little spot, and now it's off and it falls and my puppy tries to get it. Not cool. I don't like that. The door on the Nitecore is attached with just a little teeny band, but it just seems to be more substantial. It's a hard door with that little rubber band holding it, but it just seems to be nicer and more substantial. See, I guess the proof will be in the pudding when we get outside in the dark, and we'll give these lights a go and see what the beam shots look like. I think either one of these flashlights will probably be great. Just looking at them like this, I doubt we're going to see enough differences in the beam shots to justify one over the other. I think the biggest difference is their form factor. What do you want? How are you going to carry it? That kind of thing. But who knows? We need to get out in the darkness and take a look at them. So I will see you outside. All right, so let's take a look at these beams and compare them. First up, we're going to have the Imalent on 10 lumens. And we'll put the Nitecore on its 15 lumen setting. So there's the Nitecore, and there's the Imalent. Definitely a floodier beam on the Imalent and a more defined hot spot for the Nitecore. Against the trees, there's the Nitecore, and there's the Imalent. Nitecore, Imalent. All right, so now we're going to bump up and here's the 200 lumen setting for the Imalent, and here's the 100 lumen setting for the Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. Up closer, Imalent, Nitecore. All right, now we'll bump up again. 600 lumen setting and 400 lumen setting. 600 Imalent, 400 Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. On the trees, Imalent, Nitecore. Looking down through the hole in the trees, I can definitely see just a touch further with the Nitecore, but the difference isn't very great yet. Okay, so now we're going to bump up 1400 lumens on the Imalent and 1200 lumens on the Nitecore. So there's 1400 and 1200. Definitely the beam profiles are a lot different, aren't they? Imalent, Nitecore. Against the trees, Imalent, Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. Now when I look down through the hole in the trees, I can definitely see further with the Imalent. Sorry, with the Nitecore. Okay, so let's bump up. Now we're at 3000. Now in order to get this, this is 3000 with the Imalent. In order to get this with the Nitecore, I'm going to have to start using the custom button, and it's only going to be a burst. So here's the Imalent, and here's 3000 with the Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. The Nitecore dropped down already. The Imalent's still hanging tough. So here's 3000 in the trees with the Imalent. And here's 3000 with the Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. And the Nitecore dropped down again. I'm going to let both lights cool just a touch. And then we'll do their highest settings, which will be 6000 for the Imalent and 6500 for the Nitecore. And again, the Nitecore is just going to be a quick burst. Okay, here we go. 6000 for the Imalent and 6500 for the Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. This is their lumen shield. Imalent, Nitecore. I'm going to go and we'll do this against the trees too, but again, I want these to cool off, especially the Nitecore. I'm watching that little gauge climb back up so I can get some decent run time out of the burst. Don't think that the Imalent isn't getting hot. It is warm to the touch. Kind of like hand warmer warm, you know, with those little disposable packets that you tear open. That's what the Imalent feels like right now. But it still hangs tough. It runs longer at that higher setting. Okay, so now we're gonna go against the trees at 6000 for the Imalent and 6500 for the Nitecore. Imalent, God, that's bright. Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. I can definitely see further with the Nitecore. I can see all way down to some more distant trees with the Nitecore. Excuse me. We're gonna wait for these to cool a little bit, and we'll do one more with their max settings against the trees so you can see it. Oh, coyotes are going crazy around me right now. Okay. So we're going to kind of go at a little bit different angle against the trees so that it's a little bit further away. So here we go. I was just waiting for a car. Okay, he didn't turn down my road. Imalent, 6000 lumens. Nitecore, 6500. There's the Imalent. And there's the Nitecore. Both of these lights are super, super bright. All right, we're going to take a little walk. Just go into the woods a little bit. This is more of a realistic thing because I spent a lot of time walking in the woods and hunting and stuff, so we're not going to go way back in there right now, but go back here just a little bit. All right, so let's bring these up to a normal level that I would use them. So that's 1400 with the Imalent, and here's 1200 with the Nitecore. 1400 Imalent, 1200 Nitecore. So the Nitecore does pierce better. It does get back behind some of the trees and penetrate the woods a little bit better. But the Imalent just absolutely clears a huge swath all at once. Where if I want to look over here, I have to aim the Nitecore there. If I want to look over here, I have to aim the Nitecore there. With the Imalent, I can just hold it steady and it illuminates the whole area. That's pretty nice. That's the Imalent. That's the Nitecore. Imalent, Nitecore. All right, what happens if we hear a noise and we really want to just blast these woods? We're going full turbo. There's 6,000 from the Imalent right there. That is impressive. Wow. And here is full lumen shield from the Nitecore. Equally as impressive. And it kicked down. So there you have it. I hope those beam shots gave you a pretty good idea on what's going on. Let's head back inside. Okay, so those were the night shots. I can tell you that I watched the footage from the night shots, and honestly, the camera doesn't do it justice. Both of these are very, very bright, and they can definitely throw up a wall of light. It's really going to come down to which form factor do you like the most. Yeah, I know the beam profiles are different. Do you need a red light, which the Imalent has? What do you want in your light? Do you like the mechanical switch that the Nitecore has? There's a few things to cover that I didn't cover before we went outside. One was, let's just take a look at the weight. 5.64 ounces for the Nitecore and 5.21 for the Imalent. So the Nitecore is slightly heavier. Not enough to make much of a difference, honestly. Also with the Nitecore, there's a few other features. So this button here, this flat one, they call it the customizable button. So what you can do right now, I have it set up for lumen shield. So the way I accessed the 3000 lumen was to push it down. Oops, I have it locked. Push it down halfway, and it gave me the 3000 lumen. And then the way I have it set up, if I push down all the way, it gives me the 6000 lumen. They called the 6000 the lumen shield. The 6500 according to this. So what you can do is if you hold that all the way down and push the power button, now when I half press the customizable button, I get 3000 lumens. If I push it all the way down, I get strobe. I prefer to have it be the 6500. I don't really have a lot of use for strobe. The other thing is you can put this lock in like a semi-lock, half-lock mode. To do that, you hold down the customizable button and you put it up into lock. Now you see how it says semi-lock. If I push the power button, nothing will happen. But if I push the customizable button, I can access the 3000 and the 6000. So I could carry this safer because this button that sticks up now is locked out. But if something happened and I needed the light real quick and I didn't want to have to worry about whether I could get to that, I can put it in the semi-lock mode super easy, and then I have lumen shield available to me. I kind of like that, and I will probably carry it in that configuration most of the time. Then if you want to use the lower configurations, all you gotta do, all you gotta do is flick that off like normal, and then you can go through all the different lower light levels. If it's, then once you turn this switch off and back on, it stays in the semi-lock. Now if I turn this off, push the customizable button and lock it again, yeah, it stayed in the semi-lock. I like the semi-lock. I honestly didn't see. Now it's full lock. So to go back to full lock, what you do is with the off, you push and hold the power button all the way in and then flip the lock, and then it goes back. So now if I lock it, nothing happens. I'm probably going to put it in semi-lock though and carry it like that because I really like that. It's nice because this button is almost completely flush. You're just not gonna hit and trigger that button. Then if you do hit and trigger that, you're not turning the light on to a maintain mode anyways. If it's in your pocket, it's gonna get warm. It will definitely get warm, but this button is a momentary. It's only while you're holding it. So it's not gonna be a problem. In fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and switch it to that right now. There. Now I'm back in semi-lock. I like that. The only way to lock out the Imalent is through this side button. Hit it 4 times and it locks. The button's easy to find and it's easy to unlock. No problem. No fuss, no muss. Double click it and you got red. I like that. That's a good feature. It's funny because you can compare these two lights being that they both have LED screens telling you what's going on, and they are both in the 6,000-ish at their max output, but they're so different. You know, the beam shots outside, you saw that, they were different, and the layout's different and everything. So I really hope that everything that I just told you, the beam shots and looking at them side by side and talking about the differences, if you are considering one of these two lights, I hope that really helped you make a decision. If it did, please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear what you think about these two lights. You know, even I I have a review video on the EDC 23 as well. What about the EDC 23 against these? You know, it's very similar to the 29, but it's only 2500 lumens. It doesn't have quite as many features as the 29, but it's very, very easy to carry. So hit me up in the comments, ask me some questions if you have any, and let me know what you think of these and which one you'd rather carry. I'm really curious. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next one. Hopefully this review was useful to you. I'm doing my best. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.